They say the only constant in life is change. But when it comes to the shadowy world of La Cosa, also known as the American Mafia, that old adage doesn't quite apply. For decades, they stood as a monolithic symbol of organized crime in the United States. Their influence was so pervasive, their grip on certain industries so tight, and their violence so terrifyingly legendary that they almost seemed immune to the forces that shift and change the world around them. They survived wars, prohibition, economic depressions, and even drastic changes in the way crime is conducted in the U.S. But today, in this very different 21st century America, their power is fading fast. So what exactly is La Cosa Nostra? What were their main activities, and how did they maintain their reign for so long? And finally, how have they changed, or rather failed to change, with the times? Let's find out. La Cosa Nostra, meaning our thing in Italian, is the name given to the Italian-American organized crime groups that arose in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, more popularly known as the American Mafia. It all began in the U.S. in the late 1800s with the advent of large-scale immigration from southern Italy and Sicily. Back then, in their homeland, the Mafia had already evolved into a quasi-governmental force, stepping in where the actual government had failed to protect landowners and merchants. So when the Sicilian immigrants arrived in the crowded neighborhoods of American cities, they brought that concept with them. But instead of working for landowners, now they were protecting themselves. At first, it was mainly against discrimination and oppression from outside their communities. But soon, that expanded into protection rackets, where they demanded payment from small businesses to ensure their safety. This was the beginning of La Cosa Nostra. It wasn't until 1920, with the start of the Prohibition Era, that things really took off. Alcohol smuggling and manufacturing suddenly became highly lucrative, and all small Italian-American gangs grew into one of the most powerful and influential organized crime groups in American history. By the end of the century, La Cosa Nostra was controlling vast criminal empires built on illegal gambling, extortion, loan sharking, murder, and a host of other nefarious activities. So what exactly is La Cosa Nostra's organizational structure, and how did it help them to thrive? Imagine a giant pyramid. At the top, you have the boss, the underboss, and the consigliere, a group that makes up the family's core leadership. Beneath them are the capos, or captains, who oversee crews, or soldiers. The full members of the Mafia who have gone through an initiation ceremony and pledged loyal. Beneath the soldiers are the associates who work for the family but aren't official members yet. Now, picture 5 of these families forming a commission, a governing body that keeps the peace among the families, defines territories, and ensures everyone plays nice. This structure helped maintain order, protect their interests, and expand their influence. Over the decades, the American Mafia diversified its criminal portfolio. Illegal gambling, extortion, and loan sharking were their bread and butter. But they also got heavily involved in drug trafficking, labor racketeering, and even infiltrated legitimate businesses to launder their dirty money. But their main source of revenue was racketeering, shaking down merchants and business owners for exorbitant amounts of money in exchange for protection. As the years went by, the American Mafia continued to thrive due to factors like widespread corruption, a lack of effective law enforcement, And most importantly, their violent reputation. People called them the most ruthless gangsters in history for a reason. If you crossed them, you didn't just lose money, you lost your life. But just like all good things, the American Mafia's reign came crashing down. Starting from the 1970s and 80s, they started losing power. Thanks to new laws, new strategies by law enforcement in changing times, their grip on America began to loosen. They fought back, of course, but it wasn't enough. Today, the American Mafia is a shadow of its former self. Sure, it still exists, but not like before. No longer the dominant force in organized crime, they've been pushed to the sidelines by newer, more ruthless gangs. They don't operate in the open anymore, preferring to lurk in the shadows and pull strings from behind the scenes. This then begs the question, has the Cosa Nostra changed with the times, or are they stuck in the past? It's probably a bit of both. They've changed because they have to, but they haven't changed enough to survive in this new era of crime. While their influence has waned, their tactics have evolved. Today, they rely more on infiltration rather than brute force. Instead of running rampant through the streets, they're operating legitimate businesses, laundering money through casinos and other ventures. They've also formed uneasy alliances with other criminal groups, a far cry from their former glory days. The American Mafia is a reminder that nothing lasts forever. No matter how powerful or entrenched an organization is, it must adapt to survive. They did manage to survive the test of time for nearly a century, but in the end, they couldn't change fast enough. What do you think? How do you think La Cosa Nostra will fare in the coming decades? Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more engaging content. Until next time.